I'm not sounding like this because of the story I'm sharing. I'm sounding like this because I have my cold, I have my flu. I'm not really feeling well. The weather has been very disrespectful to me, but we move. So I think it was around like 6 p.m., okay, in the evening, obviously. And I had my baby in my arms like that. And he was like sleeping. He was like falling asleep in my arms. And I heard a crack sound, okay? The crack sound came from up. So I looked up and then I saw like a wee crack. Like, in Northern Ireland, when we say wee, it's like a little. So I saw like a wee crack on the ceiling just around where the chandelier is, right? So it was really tiny. So I took my phone and I took a picture of it, and then I sent an email to the estate agent. So the estate agent, they always say that if it's past like working hours and then they close at 5, if you call the office line, you're not going to get any response. So the most appropriate thing to do is like send an email, because they may see the email faster and then attend to you. So I sent an email that, look, it looks like there's like a crack in the ceiling, so if there's anybody that can come around to have a look or something like that. A few minutes later, still with my baby in my arms, I could feel like particles of like sand and stones like fall on me, like from the ceiling. So I was like, what's happening? So when I checked, it was now the crack was like getting larger, like getting larger. I was like, no, this is getting serious. So I took more pictures and I sent them another email that they should, if possible, they should find somebody to come and have a look at it. Like, now I could feel like particles falling from the ceiling on me, right? So I'm like, no, let me just go and put the baby upstairs. So I went to the bedroom, I went to put the baby there. Then I said, let me call my Oga, my husband. So I called my husband. He was awake at the time. So I called him and then he picked, okay, luckily. So when he picked, I'm like, look at what's happening on the ceiling. It's cracked. And then there are particles of sand falling from the ceiling. I explained to him what was happening. And then he says, let me see. So I now called him like video call, right? And then he was like, okay, what valuable item do you have under that ceiling? This is the living room ceiling I'm talking about. I'm like, my laptop. He's like, take it from there. So I took the laptop. I went to put it somewhere else. He says, a TV. Push the TV somewhere else. So the TV luckily is not on the wall. It's on a TV stand. So like I dragged it on the floor to the kitchen. He said, roll the carpet. So he was still watching everything like video call, but if I had to do something, I'll just put the phone down and then do it. And now the crack was getting larger. So he could actually see, right? After rolling the carpet, some few seconds later, as my husband is still on the video call, watching everything, the whole ceiling came down, collapsed, like the whole ceiling in the living room, right before both of our eyes. At this point, I've already sent emails. What can I do? So my husband was like, be careful not to go to the other bedroom, because like one of the bedrooms is like directly like above the living room. So he was scared that if I should go and step there, maybe now that the floor there is weak, maybe I would also just come falling down and that would be fatal. So I should avoid that room at all costs. So thank God I took my laptop. Thank God I dragged the TV and the TV stand away from there. I didn't get hurt or anything like that. Just that the whole house was covered with dust and smoke, like dust and sand particles like everywhere. So the next morning my husband went to the estate agent's office and then showed them the final. They had not seen what had actually happened because they only saw the crack pictures and stuff. So my husband showed him what had happened, and then they told him that he should come back to the house and then remove the other parts of the ceiling that was still stuck, so that when they come it will be easy for them to do it. Initially when they told us, we didn't see anything wrong with it, right? So I'm like, babe, let's do it, okay, so that when they come they'll be fast with the repairs and stuff. So when he was trying to put the other parts, like some small parts were still stuck there, then like we realized like sand was falling into his eyes. He's like, nah, why should I be the one to do this? This is not my job. So then I was like, yeah, right. Why are we even doing this? So we stopped and then we just swept the one that was in the living room. It took us days to sweep the one that was in the living room. Meanwhile, they have still not come to fix it, right? So they later came to have a look at it. They said they'll come back. See, the first time that I did a video that I was standing outside, right? That was the video where I was saying that RCN has phoned me. They want me to do a promotion for them, blah, blah, blah. That video, I shot it outside. That was the first time I shot a video outside. It wasn't because people were like, yeah, we like the outside view. Thank God. It wasn't because I wanted to film outside, it was because I didn't have a living room. I didn't have any space. At this point, the TV was now upstairs. Our dining set was in the bathroom. And when you enter my house, like, there's no ceiling up there. You just see something. Like, I'll put pictures to see how tiny these rooms are. And now we've brought the furniture and stuff from one room to another. So now the space we had in our bedroom was even much more smaller. We could not watch TV because where we have put the TV now, it's like you can't watch it. The days went by, these people had not come to fix it. So I went to work, right? And then I decided to ask the locals is that the normal thing? Like, when I say locals, I mean those that are from here, the white people. So I went to ask these two people that I work with, a lady and a gentleman. So I told the lady and the gentleman, they were together. I told them. And then the lady was like, no love. That's unacceptable love. That's not right love. You have a baby, that's not right love. Don't pay rent this month. You should not pay rent. The gentleman was a bit more relaxed. He's like, no, you know what? I don't think it's your fault. I think everything has to be from the landlord. So you know what? Just phone citizens advice. So I had forgotten about citizens advice. So like, if you don't pick anything from this story, like, pick this fact, citizens advice, okay? So let's say you have an issue with your landlord, you have an issue with a neighbor or something, and then you don't know what to do. In order not for you to do something that you think is right but will later end you in trouble, call citizens advice. Just Google citizens advice, okay? And then call them for advice, okay? They will give you the right thing to do. So I took the guy's advice and then I decided to phone citizens advice. When I phoned citizens advice, they were like, yeah, it's not the estate agent fault, it's the landlord's fault, okay? So I would have to make sure I get a landlord. However, because I'm saying that I have a baby and we are living in that condition with the dust and everything, so they tried to come and fix it one time, and guys, they did the first phase, the dust in the environment, and I'm like, if you guys knew that this thing was going to be this dusty, at least give us a place to live for that 2 days or 3 days or whatever. But with my baby, you came to do this dusty stuff. That was the first day my baby had a cold. So I was so pissed. When I called citizens advice, I told them that when they came to do the first phase of whatever, it was so dusty, they didn't even mind us with my baby and everything. So now the person I was talking to from citizens advice was like, it's now an environmental issue, so he's connecting me to the environmental whatever department. I'm like, okay. So he gave me their number and I phoned them and I made my report, and they said, get back to me later. So now the other lady who said I should not pay the rent because it's not right, and then she clearly stated that doing that to me because I'm not from here. She was frank. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to pay my rent that month. So I stopped the standing order, and they called me that why haven't I paid my rent? I'm like, I thought I was going to get this for free because of the inconvenience that you people have caused. Because the house I'm living in now is inhabitable. Nobody can live in this state, guys. And they said, no, I have to pay. It doesn't work like that, blah, blah, blah. They are sorry, but it doesn't work like that. I have to pay. So I'm like, okay, let me just pay. Guys, till date, month after, they have still not fixed this. So when those things were going on, that's what gingered us, because at the time we had money to buy our house there, but we were not actively searching. But when that thing happened, that's when we actually started like searching actively for the house. It was so painful. Guys, I'm not trying to brag, but my parents' house in Ghana, like where I live in Ghana, is a 10-bedroom house, 10 bedroom, 10 bathrooms with a gym. If you're a plumber or you're a worker, an electrician or whatever, and you come to do something in the house and then it's late and you can't go back, you are giving a room with your own bathroom. My parents' house in Ghana, everybody who watched my wedding video or everybody who has visited me will know this. And I had to live in a single space. My baby at the time had just started crawling. So now there was no space for the baby to even crawl. You know how tiny these UK rooms are? It was so painful. Like, UK will humble you no matter how. Who you think you are, UK will humble you, eh? There was a time Priscilla was coming to visit me. Priscilla is the lady I always show whenever I'm showing my first day in the UK. MMA booked our flight together, so we came together. She later left Northern Ireland to England, and Priscilla, she was come to visit me, I had given birth, so that she'd bring me stuff like, gifts for the baby. She traveled all the way from England to come and see me and the baby. And when she came, like when it was time for her to get to her place, I was not giving excuses. Because she won't even get a place to sit in the living room. There's no chair. There's nothing. I don't know if she believed me or not. So I sent her a picture. She's like, no, it doesn't matter, I'll come. So when she came, I had to now bring chairs from somewhere so that it was very embarrassing. But, you know, my Ghanaian sister, so. And she was like, oh, I now know why you now film your videos outside. It was funny. Like sometimes when somebody wants to come and visit you, then you're like really shy. I remember there's this nurse coach, Ola. She's in Ireland, and then she was traveling, right? And then she was going to transit through Belfast. And then she wanted to see me. I wanted to see her as well. So when she sent me a message, I'm like, God, may this girl not say that she wants to come to my house. So God being so good. Initially, she was like, we can meet outside. I was like, we'll meet outside and then we'll talk. And then she agreed, yeah. So when she said that, I'm like, thank God, thank God. There's a few days to the time, she's like, why don't I come to your house instead? And then I'm like, no, please, my house is not nice. Like, I just told her, like, I'm like, God, why? UK will humble you. These are some of the things that you go through that you know very well that if you were back home, you could not live like that. You could not live like that. Until date, as I'm talking to you, this thing happened when my baby was now my baby walks and runs. This thing happened when my baby was now learning to crawl. So you can count a number of months ago, and they've still not fixed it. They came to do some part and then they left the remaining part. And I just thank God that now we have our place now. Honestly, that's one of the things that gingered us most to get a place. And I think, you know, God has a purpose for everything. He gingered us to actively search for a place, and then we moved. UK will humble you. This is my sad story. Yeah, I was living without a ceiling in my living room for months, for like 6 months. Yeah.